Hello future RNs, this is Sir Josh, and for this video, we're going to talk about your anxiety and anxiety-related disorders. But before that one, we have to understand first the difference between your neurosis from your psychosis. Why is it important na dapat alam natin yung concept or the difference between these two terminologies? It's because number one, kailangan nating malaman yung difference ng ating neurosis from your psychosis for us nurses to have an understanding or for us to curate a correct assessment to our clients. Okay, what else? Aside from your assessment, kailangan nating alamin, okay, the difference between your neurosis and psychosis for us to have our appropriate nursing interventions that is needed by our client. Okay? And aside from that one, through discussing this, the difference between these two is that we will be able to have our better na understanding when it comes to our communication approach to our clients. And then lastly, para sa ganon, we can actually have or utilize a better treatment planning na effective para sa client natin. Okay, so let's discuss first kung anong difference or the definition of your neurosis from your psychosis. Pag sinabi natin neurosis nurses, okay, these are psychiatric disturbances, okay, that is characterized by excessive anxiety that is expressed directly or altered through your defense mechanism. So yan po yung mismong definition ng ating neurosis. So ano ba yung mga characteristics ng ating neurosis or mga psychoneurotic behaviors? Number one. Okay, number one here is that they are aware that they are experiencing what? That they are experiencing distress behaviors. Okay, that they are aware that they are experiencing distress. Alam nila that there is something wrong with them. Okay? And aside from that one, nurses, you have to remember that one of the characteristics also of your neurosis is that they are also aware na yung kanilang mga behaviors, okay, na pinapakita nila are considered as maladaptive. Okay, so that is one of the characteristics of your neurosis. What else? Ang problem kay neurosis nurses is that one of its characteristics is they are unaware of any possible psychological causes of distress. Hindi sila aware kung bakit sila nakaka-experience ng ganong psychological distress. And then, aside from that one, they are also helpless to change that situation. Hindi nila alam kung paano nila tutulungan yung kanilang mga sarili to change that situation na kinakaharap nila. And, pinaka-important characteristic or feature ng ating neurosis is that they have no lost contact of reality. Ibig sabihin, intact pa rin sila dun sa kanilang reality. Okay, alam pa rin nila yung mismong tama at hindi. So, these are the characteristics of your neurosis. So, ano yung mga disorders under your neurosis? Number one, of course, nandito papasok yung mga anxiety disorders natin. Like, for example, nandyan sila phobic disorder, nandyan sila GAD, nandyan sila OCD, and even with your panic disorders. How about with your somatic symptom disorders? As discussed by Ma'am Cristel, nandyan po yung mga illness anxiety disorders natin, yung mga conversion disorders natin like that. And then lastly, we have your dissociative disorders. Ito po yung mga disorders natin. Like for example, we have your dissociative amnesia. What else? Tawag dito, your DID as well. Okay, so these are the disorders under your neurosis. How about naman kapag psychosis? Okay, pag sinabi naman nating psychosis nurses, okay, this is described as your significant thought disturbances. Okay, meron kang thought disturbances in which your reality testing is impaired. Okay, resulting in possible delusion, hallucination, disorganized speeches, and your catatonic behavior. So, meron na kayong idea about this one. So, itong mga symptoms na to, they can be manifested in what disorder? We have your schizophrenia. Okay? So, ano ba yung mga characteristics ng ating psychosis? Of course, number one here, they exhibit minimal distress. Okay? They exhibit minimal distress. Ibig sabihin, nurses, yung mismong emotional tone nila is considered as what? Ano ba yung mga napag-aralan natin during your MSc, di ba? They have that flat affect. Ano pa? It can be blunt. And of course, it can be inappropriate. Okay, what else? They are unaware that yung mismong compared kay neurosis natin, na aware sila that their behavior is maladaptive. Dito naman sa ating psychosis, hindi sila aware na yung pinapakita nilang behavior is maladaptive. Okay? What else? They are also unaware of any psychological problems. Hindi nila alam na meron silang pinapakita or na-exhibit na psychological problems. Okay? Ibig sabihin nun, yun yung tinatawag natin na anosognosia. Okay? Anosognosia. Hindi sila aware, they have a very poor insight na meron silang pinapakita na maladaptive behavior. And hindi nila alam na meron silang ina-exhibit na psychological problems. And then lastly, they exhibit a flight from reality into a less stressful world or one. Kaya nga sabi natin kanina, they have, yung mismong reality testing nila is already impaired or they have loss of contact in reality. That's why they try to adapt to a lesser stressful world or one para sa kanila. Okay, they're trying to adapt to that situation or word na sa tingin nila ay mas less stressful. Okay, so what are the disorders under your psychosis? Number 1, of course, we have your schizophrenia. Next, we have your schizoaffective. And then lastly, we have your delusional disorders. So that is the difference between your neurosis from your psychosis. Sabi natin, bakit kailangan nating alamin? Okay, for us to determine. Okay, para mas magkaroon tayo ng correct assessment. Ano pa yung nasabi natin kanina? For us to have an appropriate nursing intervention that is somewhat related or that is somewhat specific or individualized para sa mga client natin. And then next, we have your para mas magkaroon tayo ng ng tamang approach when it comes to our communication by using your interpersonal or therapeutic communication techniques. And then lastly, so that we can have a treatment planning in collaboration with other healthcare professionals for our client. Okay, so yan po yung mismong neurosis natin versus your psychosis. Okay, so mag-start na tayo with the discussion of your anxiety and anxiety-related disorder. Pag sinabi nating anxiety, ano ba yung unang pumapasok sa isip natin, nurses? Okay, sabi natin, most of us do experience anxiety from time to time and that's normal. Okay, but when it comes to the definition of your anxiety, okay, this is stated here that it is a diffuse, vague apprehension that is associated with what? Associated with feelings of uncertainty and helplessness. Ibig sabihin, pag diffuse, it is spread out. Ibig sabihin, it is not only focused on one specific thing. And aside from that one, pag sinabi naman nating vague, it is unclear, di ba? Very unclear siya or hindi siya well defined. Why? You're experiencing that type of fear. Okay? And pag sinabi naman nating apprehension naman, nurses, this is a feeling that something bad might happen. Okay, so yun pang definition ng ating anxiety. Or pag titignan naman natin kay mismong Videbek, pag sinabi nating anxiety yan, that is just the subjective feeling, okay, of apprehension, dread, and impending doom. That is somewhat related with anticipation of fear, but we cannot identify yung mismong source na nagkakos ng anxiety mo. Okay, the source is unknown, the source is non-specific. Okay, so that is the definition of your anxiety. So ngayon, we might interchange yung mga terminologies natin. Like for example, we have your fear and your anxiety. So how are we going to differentiate these two terminologies? Number 1, pag sinabi nating fear yan, nurses, this is considered as what? This is considered as an objective threat. Okay, pag sinabi nating fear, this is considered as an objective threat. Ibig sabihin you are feeling afraid. Ibig sabihin you are feeling threatened by what? By a clearly identified external stimulus. Okay, clearly identified external stimulus. Okay, that represents danger para sa'yo. So, yun ang ibig sabihin ng ating fear. Okay, it is an objective threat that is clearly identified. Okay, kung ano man yan, by a clearly identified external stimulus that represents danger sa isang tao. Or on the other hand, this is just the intellectual appraisal of a threatening stimulus. So yan ang definition ng ating fear. How about with your anxiety? Nurses, pag sinabi nating anxiety, this is your emotional response. Kaya nga sinabi natin kanina, na discussion natin, tinatawag natin siyang subjective feeling. Okay, subjective feeling wherein, ano ba yung other term ng ating anxiety? Di ba tinatawag natin siyang fear of the unknown. Okay, tinatawag po natin siyang fear of the unknown. Okay, we're in our day-to-day lives, okay? Those conditions of ambiguity, for example, yung mismong uncertainty natin, those are breeding ground for anxiety to take root and grow. Okay? Without yung pakiramdam na wala tayong control for what comes next, okay? What comes tomorrow, with that uncertainty, natatakot tayo. So that is your anxiety. So yun po yung difference ng ating fear from your anxiety. Okay, so let's proceed now with the characteristics of your anxiety. Sabi natin kanina, it is a subjective feeling. Ibig sabihin, this is just your what? This is just your emotional response to a stressor. Okay, this is just your emotional response to a specific stressor. Okay? And it is universally seen as unpleasant, di ba? We have, pag nakarinig tayo ng term anxiety, we have that negative connotation na hindi maganda. Okay? That's why it is universally seen as unpleasant because minsan, yung mismong anxiety natin kasi, kinoconsider din natin siya na contagious. Kailan po siya nagiging contagious yung anxiety natin? Okay? Nagiging contagious sa, for example, nakita mo yung classmate mo na nagre-review na for your examination tapos ikaw wala ka pang ginagawa. And with that feeling, parang biglang nagganan ka ng thought na parang natakot ka na, what if mag-review din kaya ako kasi baka mamaya ganito. What if hindi ako pumasa if I'm not going to review as of the moment? Like, yung mga classmates mo na nagre-review na. Okay? That's why when we are going to attend the needs of our clients who have anxiety, diyan papasok yung mismong self-awareness natin. Why? Kasi since yung mismong anxiety natin it is considered contagious, we have to determine first our own level of anxiety bago tayo mag-intervene with our clients na merong anxiety. Okay? So what else? It is considered both a stressor and adaptation. 'Di ba? Pag sinabi kasi nating stress, yan ano ba yung mismong definition ng ating stress? Yung stress natin, this is just your individual's reaction, okay, to any changes that require a possible adjustment. So yun pang ibig sabihin ng ating stressor. But pag sinabi nating adaptation, nurses, adaptation pertains to what? This is considered as positive one and is correlated with a healthy response. Okay, how are you going to adapt to the specific changes in your life? Okay, that is your stressor and your adaptation. How about with this one? Okay, your anxiety, one of the characteristics of your anxiety, it is considered a form of energy. Bakit? Because yung mismong anxiety natin, it move us, okay, it move people to do something. Wherein, kapag nasa low levels yung mismong anxiety natin na ma-manage pa rin natin siya, nakakontrol pa rin natin siya, nagiging what? Nagiging adaptive po siya. And it provides motivation. Okay? Adaptive and provide motivation kapag nasa low levels lang po yung mismong anxiety natin. And then lastly is that tawag dito, it occurs in degree, 'di ba? According kay Peplau, okay, klinaster niya po yung mismong natin, yung mismong levels of anxiety natin. Nandito po yung mismong mild. What else? Nandito din po yung mismong moderate. And then lastly, we have here your severe. And then lastly, we have your panic level of your anxiety. So ito po yung mga levels of our anxiety according to Hildegard Peplau. Okay? Sabi natin kanina, no, nurses, that yung mismong anxiety or that anxious feeling that you have, it is considered as normal. Okay? Nagiging normal po siya once nagde-dissipate siya or nawawala siya when that danger or threat is no longer available. As long that na-manage natin, nakokontrol natin hanggang sa mismong low levels of our anxiety, that is considered as normal. Kasi sabi natin kanina, it helps you or it provides motivation for you to do something. Kaya nagiging normal po yung mismong anxiety natin. Although mahirap po kasing i-differentiate yung mismong normal levels of your anxiety to the escalated levels of your anxiety. Ngayon, kailan po siya nagiging pathological, kailan po siya nagiging problem, or kailan po siya nagiging maladaptive. Nagiging abnormal po yung mismong anxiety natin once it is already what? It is already excessive. And there are already associated disturbances or possible behavioral disturbances. Like for example, nagkakaroon na kasi ng interference or nagkakaroon na ng impairment dun sa mismong other areas of your what? Of your normal functioning. Okay? And of course, kapag ito, yung mismong anxiety natin, it is already getting out of hand or nagiging it is out proportion already to that situation that is actually creating it. And once na impair na po or nagkaroon na po ng interference with our social, 'di ba palagi nating sinasabi yung na nagiging kung kailan nagiging disorder ang isang 'di ba? Or kailan natin kino-consider na disorder once there is already an impairment doon sa mismong social, ano ba doon sa mismong occupational or other important areas of functioning. Doon siya nagiging abnormal. Okay? So let's proceed now with your with your etiology of your anxiety and other related disorders. So mag-start muna tayo with your neurobiology. Okay, dito sa mismong neurobiology natin, we're going to tackle about yung mga correlation ng mismong mga neurotransmitters natin, same to with the neuroanatomy natin. Okay, so mag-start muna tayo with your serotonin. Sabi natin, yung mismong serotonin natin, it has a modulating effect in response to some intense emotion. Okay, meron po siyang modulating effect. Okay, it has a modulating effect in response to intense emotion. That is why yung mismong patient natin na merong anxiety, ano kaya ang nagiging effect nito dun sa kanilang serotonin level? Sa patient na merong anxiety, they have decreased level of serotonin in your anxiety. Okay? How about with your norepinephrine nurses? Si norepinephrine naman, okay, sa mga patient na merong anxiety, increase po ito neurotransmitter na norepinephrine sa kanila. Because, remember nurses, yung mismong ANS, or yung mismong autonomic nervous system natin nurses, okay, it responds to what? It responds to fear and anxiety by how? Yung mismong mga tinatawag natin na sympathetic nerve fibers natin. Okay, sympathetic nerve fibers. Anong ginagawa ng mga to? Kapag na-stimulate natin yung mismong autonomic nervous system natin, they are going to charge up your vital signs, okay? They are going to charge up your vital signs because pag na-charge up po yung vital signs kasi natin, that is just our body's defense to to a threat, okay? Or to a danger. Kaya fina-fire up po ng ating mga sympathetic nervous systems natin or sympathetic nerve fibers natin, yung ating mga vital signs for us to be defended to that possible danger na kinakaharap natin. That's why, sa mga patient na mayroong anxiety, increase po ang kanilang norepinephrine. And then lastly, last neurotransmitter we have here that is associated with your anxiety and anxiety-related disorder is your GABA. Okay, remember, pag may GABA, walang kaba. Pag meron kang anxiety, mababa ang iyong GABA. Okay, bakit? Ano bang ginagawa ulit ng GABA natin? Your GABA, that serves as a major inhibitory neurotransmitter in our brain. Wherein, ang ginagawa kasi ni GABA natin, tumutulong siya with the reduction and slowing your cellular activity in your brain. That's why, kapag meron tayong anxiety, decrease din po ang ating GABA. Okay, so those are your neurotransmitters that are associated with your anxiety and other related disorders. How about naman with our neuroanatomy naman? Okay, so what are the areas of the brain affected sa mga patient na merong anxiety? Number 1, we have your amygdala. Because your amygdala, that is responsible para tayo ay makaramdam or magkaroon ng fear. Okay, that is actually manifested sa mga client natin na merong panic and phobic disorders. Okay, so what else? How about with your hippocampus? Yung mismong hippocampus naman natin, they are associated with what? Associated po sila with memory related to what? Related to fear responses. Okay, related to fear responses. How about with your locus coeruleus naman? Si locus coeruleus naman natin, parang pathway din po siya that is responsible for what? Responsible for arousal. And then, how about with your brainstem naman, nurses? Kay brainstem naman po, this is responsible for what? For your respiratory activation. That's why, kapag ang isang tao na-anxious, napapansin natin nagka-hyperventilate, it's because that is just a response kung saan na-activate po kasi yung mismong SNS or sympathetic nervous system natin. That's why nag-i-increase yung mismong RR natin or respiratory rate. Same through with your what? Same through with your heart rate. That's why ang mga tao na anxious nakakaramdam ng palpitations, nakakaramdam ng tachycardia. And how about with your hypothalamus? Sa hypothalamus naman po natin, responsible po siya for what? It is responsible for the activation of your stress response. How about with your frontal cortex? Si frontal cortex naman po, responsible po siya for what? For your cognitive interpretation. That's why mapapansin natin, once na nag-escalate po yung mismong anxiety level natin, mapapansin natin that there is already a cognitive distortions. Yung patient natin, kapag nasa panic level yan, pwede siyang magkaroon ng mga delusions and even with your hallucination, interpretation. Okay? How about with your thalamus? Si thalamus naman natin, it is somewhat related or associated with the what? Integration of sensory stimuli. Okay, sensory stimuli. That's why sa mga patient na na merong anxiety, very sharpened yung kanilang mga senses in response to that specific stimuli. And then last, we have your basal ganglia. This is responsible for your tremors that can be manifested sa mga anxiety and anxiety-related disorders natin. So those are the neuroanatomy or the areas of the brain that is affected, okay, that are affected kapag ang isang tao ay merong anxiety. Okay? So now, let's proceed with your, aside from your neurobiology, of course, meron din tayong tinatawag na psychodynamic. Okay? So, let natin, we have here your psychodynamics. Sorry. Okay, ito yung mga factors natin under your psychodynamics natin. Of course, number 1 here, we have your what? We have your tinatawag natin na psychoanalytic or your interpsychic or your psychoanalytic theories natin according to what? According to Sigmund Freud. Wherein, according kay Sigmund Freud, para sa kanya, yung mismong anxiety kasi natin, no, kino-consider niya yun as, tawag dito, yun yung mismong a person's innate anxiety is the stimulus for a specific behavior. That's why with Sigmund Freud, di ba, kung maalala natin yung mismong theory ni Sigmund Freud, nandiyan papasok yung mga tinatawag natin na mga defense mechanism natin. Okay, we're in here, yung mismong anxiety, according kay Sigmund Freud kasi, yung mismong anxiety kasi natin, it's caused by a conflict of your what? Nagkakaroon kasi ng conflict ang ating id and of course, our ego. That's why nagkakaroon ng anxiety yung isang tao. Wherein, sabi natin dito, papasok dito yung mismong concept ng ating mga defense mechanism natin. Di ba, napag-aralan na natin before yung mga iba't ibang defense or ego defense mechanism natin? Because, bakit kaya ginagamit ng isang tao ang isang defense mechanism? That is to what? That is just to attempt yung mismong, that's just the attempt to control yung mismong awareness of, tawag dito, and of course, to reduce yung mismong anxiety ng isang tao. By using your what? By utilizing yung mga iba't ibang defense mechanism natin. Okay, ngayon, yung mismong defense mechanism natin, pag nagkaroon kasi ng cognitive distortion, it can be, you are going to use your defense mechanism unconsciously to maintain yung mismong sense of being in control of that specific situation. And aside from that one, para sabi natin kanina, ma-lessen yung mismong discomfort and how we are going to deal with some stress. Pero ang problem ngayon, nagiging maladaptive ang paggamit ng ating mga defense mechanism kapag nagiging dependent tayo sa ating mga defense mechanism. Okay? Kasi pag naging dependent tayo sa mga ibang defense mechanism natin, pwede kasing ma-inhibit. Okay, yung mismong emotional growth ng isang tao. Instead sana na magkaroon siya ng mas maayos sa problem-solving skill, ang resort niya agad is defense mechanism. Mas magkakaroon ka ng, tawag dito, hindi matured the emotional aspect natin. And aside from that one, of course, since nakarely ka lang palagi sa mga defense mechanism mo, every time you are being threatened, every time you are feeling stressed or overwhelmed, of course, magkakaroon ka ng very poor problem-solving skills. And aside from that one, pwedeng maapektuhan yung mismong interpersonal aspect mo. As a person, magkakaroon ka ng difficulty with maintaining relationships with other people. Okay, so yun yung tinatawag natin na psychoanalytic. How about with your interpersonal theories natin? Okay, under naman kay interpersonal, Okay, according kay Sullivan, if you could still remember, no, yung mismong anxiety kasi natin, pwedeng mag-increase yan, okay? As anxiety increases, a person's ability to communicate and solve problems decreases. Pag na-anxious tayo, or pag nag-escalate yung mismong anxiety natin, yung mismong ability natin to communicate and solve problems, nagdi-decrease po siya. Okay, that's why, tawag dito, when it comes to, anxiety, according kay Sullivan, it comes from problems in relationships with other people. For example, tayong mga adults, 'di ba? We are feeling anxious every time we used to conform to the norms and values of our, for example, sa mga cultural or religious sect natin, 'di ba? Kung ano yung sa mismong religion natin, for example, kung ano yung kino-consider na tama or norm. Okay, yun dapat yung sinusunod natin. And every time na tawag dito, may nalalabag tayo, we felt anxious. Okay? And aside from that one, we have also according kay Hildegard Peplau, yung mismong natin, yung mismong interpersonal or nurse-patient relationship natin, sinabi niya doon that a people can actually function in both with your interpersonal and with your physiological aspect. That's why, as nurses, okay, we can help our clients to achieve better health by addressing both areas. Like for example, yung mismong interpersonal aspect and even with the physiological aspect ng mga client natin. That's why according kay Hildegard Peplau, she identified yung mismong 4 levels of our anxiety. For us nurses to have a better nursing intervention and para sa ganun makapag-utilize tayo ng mga iba't ibang communication techniques natin. Okay? So that we could build a strong nurse-client relationship by utilizing your nursing process. Okay, so that is your interpersonal theory. And then lastly, we have your behavioral theory natin. Okay, so paano nga ba nakaka-apekto? Okay, yung mismong behavior natin towards your anxiety and other related disorder. According naman sa ating behavioral theory nurses, tandaan natin that your anxiety is learned from your past experiences. However, yung mga behavior na yan, it can be changed naman po. Or it can be unlearned through new experiences. That's why, kahit tayo, nakakaramdam tayo ng anxiety from day to day, okay, we can still change that unhealthy behaviors even without fully understanding kung anong nagkakos ng ating anxiety. By what? By guided, or by being guided. For example, sa mga client natin na merong disorder na ganito, they are being guided by therapy. And of course, with that repeated practice, para sa ganun, matanggal nila sa system nila na magkaroon sila ng ganitong mga behavior. Okay? So, yun po yung tinatawag natin naman na mga behavioral theory natin, according to mga behavioral theorists natin, on how we could, on how our iba't ibang mga psychodynamic processes natin affects yung mismong development ng ating anxiety and other related disorders. Okay, so now let's proceed with the different levels of your anxiety naman po. Okay, so in here, diba sabi natin kanina, it's important for us nurses to be able to recognize yung mga iba't ibang symptoms natin that are actually associated with each level for us to plan an appropriate intervention for our client. Okay, so ano ba yung iba't ibang levels ng anxiety natin? Of course, number 1, we have your mild. Okay, we have your moderate, your severe, and then the panic level. Pag sinabi nating mild level yan, ito yung tinatawag natin na plus 1, di ba? Okay, plus 1. Wherein sa mga patient na mayroong mild level of anxiety, what happens to their perception level? Okay, they have heightened perception. What else? They have increased awareness and increased alertness. With your mild anxiety, sabi natin kanina, it is seldom a problem. Okay, seldom considered a problem. Wherein this is just a problem or attention that we tend to experience in response to the events of day-to-day living. Okay? So ngayon, dito kay ating pag nagkaroon si patient ng heightened perception, ang example nito is that kapag meron tayong mild level of anxiety, minsan yung mga noises around us may seem louder. Okay? Or minsan may mga hindi tayo nanonotice na part ng ating environment kapag tayo ay nagkakaroon ng mild anxiety. Because heightened yung mismong perception ng isang tao. And aside from that one, increase yung kanyang awareness. Nag-increase yung kanyang awareness to their environment or to the event na nangyayari sa kanila because sabi natin kanina, nasa-sharpen po yung mismong mga senses natin that will tend you to increase also your alertness. Okay, so ano magiging intervention natin? Of course, wala po tayong management for your mild anxiety. Because pag sinabi natin mild anxiety yan, that is considered as helpful anxiety. Okay, that will produce motivation or that will move you to do something. How about with their ability to learn? Sa mga patient po na merong mild level of anxiety, of course, their learning is enhanced. Kasi sabi natin kanina, mas nag-i-increase yung mismong motivation nila for productivity and mas nagiging effective yung kanilang problem-solving skills. How about with their physical characteristics? Minsan makikita natin as manifested by our client, makikita talaga natin sa kanila that they exhibit restlessness. Okay, they tend to pace, tawag dito, paulit-ulit yan na nagsasalita. For example, di ba? Makikita natin sa mga, natin dito? Like for example, ang example natin dito is mga client natin na sila na yung susunod na mag-ret them. Okay? Of course, they have that irritability. Tapos pagkakausapin mo yung client, yung mismong classmate mo na nagme-memorize ng mga procedures or checklist natin. Very irritable sila, very, agitated, nagagalit sila. Okay? Ayaw nila ng nai-istorbo because yung mismong learning ability nila is, tawag dito, nakafocus or enhance. Okay? Nakafocus lang sila sa isang bagay. Okay? Na kailangan nilang i-accomplish. And how about with their emotional and behavioral characteristic? Okay, they may remain superficial with others. Kasi sabi natin kanina, no, that with the mild level of your anxiety, it is seldom a problem. Hindi siya problem para sa isang tao. And they rarely experience it as distressful kasi, sabi natin kanina, mas nai-increase yung kanilang motivation for productivity. Okay, to do something. So that is the mild level of your anxiety. Next naman tayo with your moderate. Pag sinabi naman nating moderate, okay, ito naman po yung mismong, pag sa numerical value niya, plus 2. Okay, so anong nangyayari sa kanilang perception field? Okay, nagkakaroon ng reduction in their perception field. Ibig sabihin, nagdi-diminish, nagda-narrow yung kanilang perception field as the level of anxiety escalates or increases. And aside from that one, nagkakaroon din sila ng reduced alertness to environmental events. So dito sa ating moderate level of your anxiety, dito papasok yung mismong ability nila to concentrate and yung mismong attention span nila nagdi-decrease. Okay, nagdi-decrease yung kanilang concentration and their attention span wherein yun yung tinatawag natin na selective inattention. Okay, that is other term also as your selective inattention. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng selective inattention? We choose non-anxiety provoking events para sa ganun hindi po mag-increase yung level of our anxiety. Wherein, sabi natin kanina, example nito, tawag dito, someone talking may not be heard. Okay, dun sa mismo, for example, since sobrang focus mo na, sobrang preoccupied mo na sa isang bagay, minsan hindi mo na naririnig yung mga ibang tao na nasa paligid mo. Okay? So, what will be our intervention here? Of course, number one, since reduce po or diminish po yung kanyang perception field, that's the time that we could redirect our client. Kailangan natin silang i-redirect. What else? Kailangan natin silang tulungan para mag-refocus. And at some point, pwede na po tayo magbigay ng ating mga oral anxiolytics as prescribed. Okay, so that when it comes to this intervention, by redirecting, by refocusing, by administering your oral anxiolytics, we could help our client to pace. Okay, we have to help our client to pace. Okay, we have to help them to or to encourage them to verbalize yung mismong anxiety nila sa'yo. We have to identify kung ano ba yung mga possible stressors natin, and then you have to state your observation, and then lastly, you're going to assist your client in problem solving skill. Kasi nga, reduce po yung kanilang ability, okay, to concentrate, and of course, reduce din po kasi yung kanilang attention span, or diminish yung kanilang problem solving or decision making. Okay? How about with your ability to learn sa mga patient na mayroong moderate level of anxiety? Okay? Learning still occurs but not at optimal ability. Okay? And of course, yung kanilang attention span, decrease po ang kanilang attention span and decrease ang kanilang ability to concentrate. That's why, nurses, if you're going to take your board exam sooner, okay, dapat kailangan ninyong na ma-manage yung mismong anxiety level ninyo. Kasi once na nag-escalate yan or nag-increase yung inyong anxiety level, naging moderate siya, hindi na po yan maganda. Kasi sabi natin, nagkakaroon ka ng reduction dun sa mismong perception field mo, nagdi-diminish or tawag dito, nagdi-decrease yung mismong perception field mo, ano pa? And of course, yung mismong attention span mo, nagdi-decrease, same for with your ability to concentrate, mas mahihirapan ka na mag-take ng exam. Okay? So, how about with their physical characteristic? Ayan, makikita natin yung kanilang mga manifestation. Increase ang restlessness. Increase ang ating heart rate and our respiratory rate dahil, sabi natin kanina, increase yung mismong norepinephrine natin kasi na-stimulate yung mismong autonomic nervous system natin, fired up or charged up lahat ng vitals mo. Sa tingin mo makakapag-exam ka pag meron kang palpitations, pag nag-hyperventilate ka or nagkakaroon ka ng takip niya? Hindi. Ano pa? Of course, increase ang kanilang perspiration. What else? Pwede sila maka-experience ng gastric discomfort. Okay, pwedeng sumakit yung tiyan nila, pwede silang magtae. It is not just that, it's not only that simple GI butterflies na pwede nilang ma-experience, but they might suffer from discomfort din sa kanilang GI, like for example, diarrhea and even with nausea and your vomiting. What else? Pwede din mag-increase ang kanilang muscular tension, mag-increase yung kanilang speech rate, their volume, and even with their pitch. Okay? How about with your emotional and your behavioral characteristic? Okay, they have that feeling of what? Feeling of discontent that may lead to what degree of impairment in their interpersonal relationship. Kasi that individual, they begin to focus on themselves and that need to relieve that personal discomfort. Kaya pwedeng ma-impair yung kanilang interpersonal relationship, hindi mo na sila makausap ng mabuti. Kaya sabi natin, ang intervention dito, you have to redirect, you have to refocus your client, or you can already give your oral anxiolytics para matulungan natin yung client natin. Okay? How about with your severe level of your anxiety? Okay? Sa mismong numerical value natin, it is already considered as what? Plus 3 naman po ito. Wherein, kapag ang patient natin nag-escalate into a severe level of anxiety, of course, yung kanilang perception field, it is already greatly diminished or severely mababa na po yung kanilang, tawag dito yung kanilang perception field. And they may not take notice of an event. Hindi na sila aware. Okay? They are only focused, they are only hyper-focused or preoccupied dun sa mga extraneous details that are being perceived or masyado na lang fixated dun sa mga single detail na pwedeng mag-cause nung kanilang anxiety. And even when attention is directed by another, hindi na po nila alam ang nangyayari sa kanilang mga, sa kanilang paligid. Okay? And then, how about with their ability to learn? Of course, it is an extremely limited ang kanilang attention span. Okay? They are unable to concentrate already or to solve problems. And of course, effective learning cannot occur dito. Because kahit simpleng lang completing even the simplest task na pwede mong ipagawa sa kanya, hindi na niya kayang gawin. And possible, pwede na rin kasi sila magkaroon ng tinatawag na disorientation. Kasi hindi na sila aware, okay, dun sa kanilang mga environment. Okay? So, anong magiging management natin dito? Of course, number 1, when it comes to our communication approach, kailangan natin gumamit ng what? Kailangan natin gumamit ng concise and brief statements para hindi mo overwhelm yung mismong clients natin na merong severe level of your anxiety. What else? We can already give or administer your IM meds na anxiolytics natin. And kapag nag-hyperventilate po yung client natin, we can give them what? We can give them your brown paper bag. And of course, ang pinaka-priority natin dito is that we have to stay with the patient. Kasi since disoriented dun sa mismong nangyayari sa kanya, dun sa mismong event, dun sa kanyang environment, they can actually harm themselves and other people. That's why we have to stay with the patient. And of course, we have to attend to the what? Attend to the physical symptoms ng client natin. That's why makikita natin dito, ano ba yung mga physical characteristics ng mismong severe level of anxiety. Nandyan yung mismong headache, nagkakaroon sila ng dizziness, nausea, trembling, insomnia, palpitations or tachycardia, hyperventilation, urinary frequency, and even with your diarrhea. Okay? So, how about with their emotional and behavioral characteristics? They have that feeling of what? They have that feeling of dread, loathing, horror, or terror, and They have total focus on self and intense desire to relieve that anxiety. And even yung mga virtually overt behavior nila is being aimed already. Kasi yung mismong focus nila dito is yung mismong sarili nila, okay, wherein they have that intense desire na ma-relieve yung mismong or ma-alleviate yung kanilang anxiety level. Okay, so that's with your severe level of your anxiety. How about naman kapag panic na? Okay, pag sinabi naman nating panic, pag nag-escalate yan into panic level of anxiety, ang numerical value natin dito is your +4. Okay, so anong kanyang perception field dito? They are already unable to what? Unable to focus, okay, on even one detail within the environment. Kung dito kanina sa isa, okay, meron silang hyperfixation sa isang extraneous detail, okay, na nagkakos ng kanilang anxiety level. But with your panic level of anxiety, wala na po silang focus or even one detail within the environment. And possible magkaroon na sila ng misperceptions of your environment. They already lost contact with reality. Okay? Yung kanilang reality testing, it is already impaired. And aside from that one, yung mga details na kanina, they may be elaborated or even out of proportion. Pag titignan natin, inappropriate na po siya. And dito na po papasok yung mismo mga symptoms, psychotic features natin, yung client natin, pwede nang magkaroon ng hallucinations and delusions. And in here, yung mismong client natin na mayroong panic level of your anxiety, they might harm themselves or other people. That's why as nurses, anong magiging intervention natin dito? You have to what? Number 1, you have to provide controlled environment. Ikaw na magti-take over dun sa mismong situation or sa mismong environment ng client natin kasi nga, they already have that misperception about their environment. Okay, what else? You have to give already your parenteral anxiolytics natin. And then, of course, lastly, ang pinaka number 1 na priority natin dito is your safety of your client. So, yan yung mismong pinaka-priority. Kasi sabi natin kanina, they might harm themselves or other people. Okay? How about with your learning ability? Of course, learning cannot occur already. Ano pa? Unable to concentrate, unable to comprehend even simple directions. How about with your physical characteristics? Of course, dito na papasok yan. Yung mismong dilated pupils, labored ang kanilang breathing, severe trembling, hindi na nagkakaroon sila ng sleeplessness, palpitations, diaphoresis and pallor, muscle incoordination, immobility or purposeless hyperactivity, and of course, incoherence and inability to verbalize their feelings. And then last, with their emotional and behavioral characteristics, they have that sense of what? They have that sense of impending doom, okay, sense of terror, bizarre behavior, pakiramdam nila they're going crazy, and possible magkaroon na sila ng hallucinations and delusions, and of course, extreme withdrawal into self.